IDHBNY coming to you live and direct, Hammer Valley, New York. Still on the mend with this elbow. Um, you know what I mean? Had a nice night last night, cuddling up with the missus. Got some dinner. Initially last night, because we were going to come into some snow, she was going to go over to the mother-in-law's house and post up for the evening. I asked if she wanted me to accompany because of the snow and etc. Um, she was like, "No, no, it's totally cool. Spend Sunday chilling. I'll be over there. You know, um, and yeah, you get the place to yourself." And then last night we hung out, and it was very nice. So kept it low key. Anyhow, wanted to make this video because I made a funny old mistake. Yeah, I went to look up information on a game of West Ham versus Huddersfield in 1930. I want to say it was either in August or December. Could be completely off with the dates. Anywho, looked it up. It, initially, it gave me, because I was hearing the names of like somebody young. Come on, Mackey. Come on, Magnay. Come on, Millie. Something like that, right? So I was curious. It's called Soccer Now. What I learned, interestingly enough, is that the name soccer, that I'm not the biggest fan of, came from the word association football. Just learned that after all these years. It's the soc and the association soccer. So interesting. It's never wrong learning something. It's actually a beautiful thing. That's what living is learning. Um, and I'm looking up information on this, and I've done this a couple times where I've made the mistake of looking up historic West Ham information on Google AI, and it's come back with tainted information that's almost like intended, either because I've worded the correct question incorrectly, or I'm making the mistake of looking on AI Google, which is just tainted as a source any which way, because if somebody gets your email, an algorithm of words and etc., it could turn out, coming back with misinformation intended to throw you off your course, because somebody might have a certain resentment towards either your channel, your content, your presentation. It's whatever. It could be anything. It gets a little weird out there. That's why I was ever so happy to deactivate so many pieces of social media. Once you kind of unplug your head from the computer a bit, it's a reality that is beautiful out there, especially in the world that I live in, with 11 years of having been on a journey of of um of having overcome quite a bit. It feels good. It's great. Anywho, one thing I'm going to say is, I look up this information, and I'm like, I'm like, what in the wide world of sports is going on? Why is it that it's saying now it's Victor Watson and James Ruffle? I'm like, I don't know if that's. I was like, I'm like, am I? I was like, I'm gonna have to look this up at some point. And I asked again, and it gave me the results of a previous same year Huddersfield Arsenal game, supposedly. Who knows? That could have been misinformation too. But granted, learn my lesson. Don't ever look up things via Google AI. Um, Actually ask somebody in like the chats. That's what I've learned. I've done the knowledge with, as far as reading books that you get off the Kindle, and talking to people that were actually there in the day, or had knowledge of the game, or of that particular game. One that always stands out that everybody seems to know in the vicinity of my West Ham hemisphere is West Ham Arsenal 1980 Cup. And yeah, it's just you learn. So to anybody out there, and again, I'm not in this to create content to feel like, oh yeah, like let me get up on fan reactions, or let me get put up on this channel, or not. I'm really not in it for that. I do this just because it's almost like putting together. You ever make like a time capsule when you were a kid, where you put together all the things that, like your favorite album, your favorite, book, your favorite, you know, GI Joe or whatever growing up in the thing, and you put it away. It's kind of like that, but West Ham themed. You know what I mean? Apparently, over there in the UK, I know tons of people who have sheds dedicated to West Ham, and some of them are like spaceships. It's like it's really quite interesting. But nevertheless, I don't feel bad with having to ask questions either too, um, because you, it's and don't feel bad if you hit up a channel at one point in time, and then it's look out and do this for the enjoyment of yourself. Don't do it for the when it comes from the heart. You don't have to put it on camera. You see, that's why I don't put my face on this, right? You see, that's why I blur it out at every junction, because it's not about me. It's about my personal experience with West Ham, watching it, appreciating it, talking about it, venting about it, then stepping away from the internet and going back to life. It's not that deep, folks. It's not that deep. It's my favorite team. It's the greatest team in the planet to me. It's what chose me out of all the algorithm of things prior to even the invention of the internet that had pointed me in its direction. So it's a good thing. Another thing, um, if there is some kind of, you know, I'm not here to, yeah, no, not here to engage with anything like that. So if and if somebody is dislikes a video, doesn't like how what I have to say, somebody, it's totally cool. That's what this, it doesn't have to be, you know like let's all sing kumbaya, like especially when it comes to something like football. Like there's always going to be somebody going back and forth. I had somebody a couple weeks ago. I was up on a channel. Shout out to Rasa Stocks. I was told my team wasn't good enough and we should be in West Ham should be in relegation. I was up there and I was like, you know what? At the present moment, considering what's going on, I was like, I was kind of at a cornerstone movement, but I know why that was applied, and I was ready for it, whether it was good, bad, ugly, indifferent. It's just banter, man. It's not that big a deal. The egos are the ones that make it the big deal. So don't worry about it, man. It's cool. Appreciate other people's accomplishments. Trust me. It's better for you, makes you feel better about yourself. And if you are a realist, you share your experience, you do what you do. Chelsea, we've got next. Well, my suggestion, supposedly we've got Traore over the line. It's going to be interesting to see that dynamic with Wilson, and Taddy, and Pablo and things. It could interchange a bit. Um, could have a dynamic where, like I said, I think Paco Jimenez has that first half A side of the record where it's offensive attacking, and I think we need to absolutely thump them and absolutely like do it like by a sizable margin, more a bit more than 3-0. Even though Chelsea's been confronted with inconsistencies in the transfer window challenges with the ownership and with current presentations of games, even though they did, um, you know, they're still a top tier team. Don't get it wrong in varying degrees, but we're going to have to win by a sizable margin. And if the objective to Nuno and Paco Jimenez ball is A side, bomb on them, and B side, lay back, we're going to have to get a bigger, sizable margin of a lead than 3-0. It's going to have to be like 4, 5, 6, to be honest. Maybe I'm a little bit overly intuitive about that, but also I think when you have Wilson there and if Traore is able and available, um, don't hesitate to make those kinds of substitutions quicker. Make them at the half out the gate. Because what happens is 56th, 57th minute, like somebody had said and I had picked up on, it's psychological. They start to get torn, ripped down, and everything like that. And for whatever reason, in the interim between getting a player on the field and in the second half, when we start to drop deep in Nuno's overly defensive system at times, but has worked out in these previous setups, we need to get those substitutions perhaps right at the half out the gate instead of waiting. Because as soon as the hubbub comes around those substitutions is when they get one past us, and that's what kind of happened with Sunderland. But we even then there was confidence we were gonna make it out of there okay. There was one point I was like, oh no, but yeah. In any which way, Chelsea next week, we got this. Also, like I said, man, everybody out there, salute to you. Thank you for everybody who's presented the knowledge to me. As far as you do a rumble, you do a this, you do a that. And if there's, people who troll me, people who dislike me, thank you too, whatever, because it shows that I'm obviously something that you feel compelled to pay attention to. So I'm ever so grateful for that. I am so appreciative of that. Come through more often. This is community settings over here. Gonna have some nice things on the horizon. Don't look up your information on Google AI, and don't take yourself serious. Come on, you irons, IDHBNY. Peace. Everybody be well. Take care.